Ba-da-ba-ba-bub. 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 Da-da-da. Na-na-na-na. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. It's like my favorite movie theme song of all time. If you can guess it. Good luck. Good luck. My camera and everything is just all kind of adjusted wrong here. There's the studio light again. This guy here, he just always wants to be in the camera. And I'm like, bro, I'm going to have to move. It's like someone who's too close to you at the bar and you're trying to talk to a friend and this guy's like hovering over you. You're like, all right, bro, back up. Hang on. Let's do this right. Hang on. Just get over here. Get over there. Shine on the background. Thank you. All right. 3, 2, 1. Yo! What's going on, Arkansas Razorback fan? Oh, my God. My mic just fell. How about that? I'm going to have to hold like this the whole show. I promise. I've only had one seltzer. Oh, my God. It's all falling apart. Hang on a second. Technical difficulties. Let me put this back on. Apparently, I didn't clamp it down tight enough. I'll keep you on here so you can hear me. Oh. Okay, you slide on there. Loosen up. Nope, other way. I have more cord here than... There we go. Tighten it down. Sprain my wrist. I think that's a first. I don't know if that has ever happened. I see what's going on, though. I've got so much cord wrapped around the base of the boom here that, like, when I try to tighten down the clamp, it doesn't. Oh, my gosh. Just about murdered by... by my own microphone. We're just not going to touch it. That's what we're going to do there. Okay. We're just not going to touch it too much. I'll have to deal with it later. All right. I hope you guys had a good week. See, I don't like being this far away, though. Can I pull you over without you falling on my face? The joys of doing this live, right? Oh, come on now. I don't know why there's so much cord here. Like, they give me 10 feet of cord. I don't need this much cord, and you can't detach it. Like, it's a part of the boom. All right. I think we're good. So do me a favor if you guys would like the video. Let's get the likes up before I'm knocked in the head. I've only had one hard seltzer, I promise. It's been that kind of day, though. I'm not gonna lie. I was cleaning our ceiling fan in the living room, and I mean that's pretty far up there. And I had used a stool to clean the fan. You know, I mean, granted, I'm tall. I shouldn't have to reach too far, but I got on the stool and I'm cleaning, and I lost my balance a little bit. Nearly fell backwards. Nearly killed myself trying to clean the house. You know, keep the wife happy and everything. Yeah, okay. Like the video if you guys would. Tap the subscribe button if you're new here. I see super chats blowing up. Wow, I appreciate that. I'll get to that in just a second, I promise. And I will answer questions. Keep in mind, super chat will always take priority because that's someone who's paying to, you know, for me to respond or me to read their question or whatever. So I feel like this thing's going to tip over. I'm like nervous now. I feel like I'm going to have a reaction. Just trying to, it's making me anxious. So much happened this week. So first off, yeah, like, subscribe, check out all the links provided for you down below in the description box. And yeah, super chat is enabled. Stickers are enabled. And you guys are here. I don't know how many are in here. What are we dealing with here? Okay, we got a few people. Sweet. You guys. Look at you guys. Look at you. By the way, highly recommend. Truly, my wife drinks these. I'm out of beer. And I just kind of wanted something, you know. This is Truly raspberry lime. I like raspberry. When I go to Firehouse Subs, I get raspberry Coke because it's the only place you can get it. I'm a sucker for raspberry drinks, raspberry jam. You ever put it on your toast? It's wonderful with butter. Oh, forget about it. It's so good. So let's see what Super Chat. What are you guys up to in Super Chat? Mr. T-Dub, love the new linebacker coach hire. Let's get DJ Williams for tight end coach. I like the first half of what you said there, Mr. T-Dub. I love the first half of what you said there. I don't know about the DJ Williams as tight end coach just yet. I don't know about that. Like your haircut. Looks good, bro. I appreciate that, Fishman. You guys, I get bragged on the haircut quite a bit, and I do appreciate that. Jesus loves you, Ty. Did I say his name in vain? Uh-oh. Did someone catch me? Did I say the Lord's name in vain? I apologize if I did. All right. I don't think I did. Hi, Ty. What's up, Razorback Rick? That's got to be one of the best names I've seen in this chat. Razorback Rick. That is excellent. You know what's up with Razorback Rick because he's MFing Razorback Rick. All right. Maybe Petrino would come coach the tight ends. Had a pretty good one. Had a couple pretty good ones here. DJ Williams and Chris Gregg. Yes, Chris Gregg was on campus. I don't think I wouldn't be surprised if he interviewed for the job. So we're going to get into all that and everything. Terminator, someone nailed it. Fishman nailed it. I love that movie. Terminator 1 and 2, gold. Everything else since, garbage. Have you seen the newest one with all the It's like the new Ghostbusters, right? The one that came out 3 years ago or so. Quit. Just quit. You're ruining great franchises. Just quit. Although there's a new one coming out that's going to be directed by the son of Ivan Reitman, who directed the first two Ghostbusters. So I'm just saying, maybe keep that on your radar. Slap that like bell. Yeah, let's get the likes up a little bit. What's up, Greg Horton? How you doing, man? Glad you're in here. Long time no see. Or maybe just I haven't recognized your name in chat in a little while. Did we lose some coaches? Also, what's up with Hunter Yurachek? A lot is up with Hunter Yurachek. He gave us quite the update. What's your PC setup? Do you use OBS to stream? I do use OBS to stream. It's done me well. Only time I ever had issues was when I had Cox internet, and it turned out that Cox was the problem ever since I've been on Ozark Go. I'm ready for gymnastics tonight. I don't keep up. Going to be real with you. I don't. Shooter Race Gaming says, we saw a glimpse of the Arkansas basketball team we had in the beginning of the season. You think there is more of that to come? Do you think we might be fighting out of our slump? I don't want to jump the ship because I am going to talk about Arkansas basketball as well later on. I don't know if Auburn is really just not that good, or if I get they had a 2-game win streak, but you got to look at who they beat, right, in the SEC. It's nice to have back-to-back conference wins no matter who you are. But I'm not sold yet. Like, I want to see them do that again. I don't know if they're real. If Arkansas, they're definitely not. I don't think. I could be wrong. I don't know. If I am, so be it. I don't think they're as bad as what we saw against Alabama and LSU. I'll just say that. They've got, luckily, their schedule will permit them up until they play Oklahoma State. They're going to be allowed to make some mistakes in these next couple of games and get away with it, and hopefully, good Lord, you never know. Hopefully not fall behind in the first half by 14, 16, 18, 20, 25 points like we've seen in the Alabama and LSU. And the first half against Auburn. What was the lead in the first half? 19 points? 19 points. You cannot get off to more slow starts. That's got to end. And it starts by I think they're headed in the right direction. I'll say that. How about that? I think they're headed in a better direction. As far as the coaching stuff, people are concerned about Musselman losing his cool or whatever in the locker room. You're not seeing signs of that anywhere but fans on Twitter and Facebook. The players are coming out on Twitter like, "What? No, there's no drama." And then, of course, you've got certain players' parents who are also, putting in their 10 cents. I'm telling you, unless it's coming from the player, the players are typically, where there's smoke, there's fire. When the players are coming out like, look, this is troublesome or whatever, they're giving you pretty broad hints even at times. That's when you kind of take notice a little bit. But really nobody knows what's going on in the locker room besides the coaching staff and the players. The media doesn't know. fans and parents. Parents sometimes are a good indicator, sometimes they're not. We've learned that the hard way in the past. Sometimes fans are just looking for, parents of players are looking for attention, whatever the case may be. We've seen that multiple times at Arkansas, multiple sports as well. Let's go down the list of things. I'm off the bandwagon on the basketball team. Sorry, guys. I just think that the expectations need to be lowered. That's all. Like, I think the expectations need to be lowered a little bit. If you're off the bandwagon, then maybe the bandwagon you were on had like 22-inch rims with spinners and was powered by, I don't know, like a jet engine or something. I don't know. Like, I think our expectations were so high on this basketball team, and now we've seen them get blown out. We've seen them like they don't really have a quality win yet. I don't know that you call sweeping Auburn quality or not, because we just don't know how good or bad Auburn is. We think Vanderbilt and Ole Miss aren't so great, but this is just a weird year. And yeah, I do think COVID has played a huge role. I think COVID played a huge role in the football season. Obviously, you saw what happened against LSU. You saw, just what happened throughout the year. And I think the same thing could be said this year. How you practice, how you conduct things, it wasn't business as usual. It was completely different. You had new guidelines, restrictions, regulations, pressure from Karens. From people on the internet. You have people in the media. Sports media, who are, throwing college athletics and the NFL and the NBA under the bus because they don't think they should be playing. So you had all this pressure and all these things combined, and it's just we don't know what to expect. And I think it's that combined with all the new elements of this basketball team, all the new elements. Guys, you had to replace like almost all of your scoring production from a year ago. 11 total new faces or something like that. Desi Seals is really your only experienced guy, and then Connor Vanover, who was here last year but didn't get to play. There's just so many things we did not consider, and we should have considered more. And I think it has played. I think more the 11 new faces and everything. I think that's what's going on. I think that's kind of at the root of their issue. We know how talented this team is. I mean, you're talking about. You look at how well Tate has performed, Justin Smith, right? Like those two guys, for their own reasons, are great. They're not high percentage scorers, but they do their own thing on the floor, and they do it pretty well. And then you talk about Moses Moody. Moses Moody nowhere to be found in the last game until late in the second half. Who steps up? Well, Desi Seals, who's kind of been off and on this year and in conference play has been mostly off, but Jalen Williams. That goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of the year. You have size, depth, talent. You've got it. And so when Moses Moody isn't able to step up and make plays, somebody else should be good enough to do that and take his place to some extent. And Desi Seals did that scoring-wise, but Jalen Williams did everything else. It was awesome to see. Justin Smith, who's slowly getting back to 100%. I say slowly. He's starting to look more and more like himself. So, all right, let's move on to the list here. There's a lot to talk about. Let's get into the coaching stuff. And again, like I said, I'm not going to blame anybody after what we saw in those two games against Bama and LSU for Arkansas basketball. I don't blame anybody for being like, I can't watch this. I don't blame anyone for that. I don't know about jumping ship just yet. Like, again, they may not make the tournament this year, and I think that should be okay. If you're going to give Mike Anderson the amount of time you gave him to make the tournament, I think, especially with COVID and the turnover and everything that they're dealing with this year, I think it's understandable. Are they as good as we thought they were? I think their ceiling is still really high, but based on what we've seen, based on the evidence on the court, I haven't seen it yet. All right. By the way, some things have changed. Tomorrow, I will not be doing a post-game show. We're gonna have some friends over. I don't get to hang out with people during games anymore because my routine now is that I sit here, I watch the game, I type notes. And immediately after, I'm already making the thumbnail because every video, I got to make a new thumbnail. Every video. And sometimes it's quick. Sometimes I got to put more thought into it. And then all the notes I've taken, take more notes as I'm doing all this. And so I just don't have I don't get to watch games with friends anymore. It's like I'm just in my own little room here, closed off to the world. So I'm going to take a break from that. Tomorrow, I'm going to hang out with a good friend of mine. He's also going to help me update NCAA 14. If you guys haven't seen this, NCAA 14 has a graphics up. It's not a graphics update, but it's like a logo update. It's really awesome. What's it called? NCAA. Just look up NCAA 14 updated or something on YouTube or Google. There's some steps you got to do. You got to utilize your computer. You got to have a what do you call those, little flash drive, and then you got to upload it to your PS3. I can't wait to do it. He's going to come over and help me with that before the game, and we're going to watch the game. And our kids are going to hang out. We're going to eat tacos, I think. So we're going to have like a day to ourselves. So there will not be a post-game show tomorrow. Now, I may or may not go live later in the day. Just hit the notification bell to be informed. Hopefully you get an alert. All right, tight end coach John Cooper. According to 247 and other sources, he is out. There's no word at the moment who's going to be replacing him. He came here from UCF. I don't know that that's, he's only here a year. It's always hard, especially at the tight end spot. I thought the tight ends came along, right? I think they came along throughout the year. We saw Kern became pretty reliable as a good check down target, or even as a role player, or that little play they run where the tight end sneaks out inside the 5 and kind of goes out into the flats, and then the quarterback rolls out and hits him on the target. He did drop a touchdown. I cannot remember who that was against. I think it was Auburn or maybe Mississippi State. It's kind of early in the year, but he came along. Hudson Henry dealt with injuries all year. There's a lot of questions surrounding him, like when is he going to step up? And you've got Sutherland behind him. You're going to have a big-time tight end in Aaron Outley out of Little Rock Parkview. He's going to be here this year. I don't know how this affects them, but they're signed. So, I don't know if they want to wait around. I doubt anybody's going to transfer. I mean, you never know, but I doubt anybody's going to transfer. But John Cooper is out, and that's not official. I have a feeling when it is official, or when it's confirmed, my guess is within the next 24 to 48 hours, you should know who his replacement's going to be. I don't have a list yet. Probably just going to have to wait around, because this could be – I expect it to be a Kendall Briles kind of hire, or for him to be allowed like he did with the wide receiver position, the wide receiver coaching position. I expect them to be like, go grab whoever you think's going to work. Go grab, maybe if you got a relationship with somebody, maybe you worked with somebody at Baylor or Houston or wherever, and you think they're going to fill the role. That could be what happens. Or this could be a Sam Pittman, like, look, I still have some say here. I'm going to make the hire, and maybe that's what happens. I don't know. But so far, so good on the boom. It hasn't fallen yet. I'm still nervous trying to make sure nothing. All right. Arkansas is also expected, and I believe they already have, they promoted defensive quality control coach Michael Scherer to linebacker coach. Ryan Rhodes, this is interesting. Ryan Rhodes is not the linebacker coach. He's expected to stay with the program. He's going to take an off-the-field role. I don't know. If I remember right, that was one of Sam Pittman's first hires when he came on board, when he took the job at Arkansas. One of the first. He wasn't the first, but he was one of those first assistant hires, if I remember right. I am surprised by this. I thought linebackers, Bumper Pool, Grant Morgan's an All-American. Bumper Pool's an All-SEC caliber linebacker. I've been saying that since they recruited the kid, and I think he lived up to that this year. I don't know, because the SEC is just so stacked with linebackers, especially this last year. I don't know if he gets that nod, but it wouldn't surprise me to see Bumper Pool be a preseason, third or second team All-SEC guy on the preseason. According to the preseason, the coaches and the AP and the preseason magazines and what have you. Wouldn't shock me to see him and Morgan on that list. Of course, Morgan's an All-American. I thought the job this year that they did with the linebackers was great, especially considering how thin you were back there. I mean, there's no one behind these guys. I mean, nobody. And I think they put a lot of faith into guys like all the guys that they'd recruited the last couple of years to take on that role. Levi Draper, the transfer from Oklahoma. And I think part of what happened this year, and a lot of everyone had to deal with this, I think they didn't have time to develop the 11 guys behind the 11 guys, right? They didn't really have time to get everyone up to speed. I remember them talking about, I think it was Odom, as a matter of fact, that talked about Levi Draper's not understanding the defense. Like talking about read, react, right? Like you should know the defense and know where you're at, and it's read, react. I mean, anyone who played football at junior high, high school, that's what they ask linebackers especially to do. You have to know where you're at on the field, know what you're doing, know, whatever your coverage is or whoever you're manned up on, you got to read, react. And I guess Levi Draper just never really caught on. Then, of course, he got hurt. If I remember, it was a neck injury, forced him to miss the rest of the year. So they didn't really have time because of COVID restrictions and everything, no spring camp, because they had to rush everything in fall camp. They didn't have time to develop these guys. They didn't have time to make sure they what was expected of them. I don't think. I mean, if you listen to enough of what these coaches say, that's kind of what I heard, and without them actually saying it. And when you listen to the media and when you listen to people talk about it, it's like they only had time to develop the 11 starters. And my God, especially the linebackers, they were great. You look at – I thought Fouché took a step forward this year. I thought Fouché played really well. Obviously, Catalan's an All-American. So Mo Brown was quietly maybe one of the better defensive backs we've had on a roster in a little while. So thank God he's coming back too, by the way. I'm not going to lie. This was a little surprising. So I don't know if there's something else going on. Someone had mentioned to me on Twitter, what did his recruiting look like? Again, he's only had one full cycle, and with all these restrictions, how do you even hold that against him? It's not like the guy can do much beyond text or be a part of a virtual visit. Like what, you're going to hold that against him? And if this were like year 2, year 3, maybe I can understand. But again, I'm basing that off of what we saw from the linebackers. Now, if the linebackers were terrible, if it was obvious they were still having issues and they looked out of place, and we started hearing them kind of come out and talk about that more and more, because that stuff eventually surfaces. Coaches, if they don't throw their players under the bus, eventually it seeps up and you start to understand like what was going on, guys being out of place and what have you. Obviously, that was not the case this year. You had an All-American. When was the last time Arkansas had an All-American linebacker, right? And that defense, so much of them, so much was asked of them this year, and I thought the linebackers at least responded well. Some of the DBs, not all. Obviously, they've got some issues to deal with at the other corner spot. Defensive line could have been a lot better. I like Jonathan Marshall's play this year, but yeah, I don't know. It's strange to me. If you're going to hold him responsible for if that's what it is, then what did the defensive backs do this year? Outside of Catalan, would you say that the defensive back play was as good as the linebacker play, even when you had 3 linebackers on the field or just 2 outside of Catalan? I don't think so. I mean, Monteric Brown was a surprise. I thought he was a lot better than I thought he would be this year. You had a couple of great moments. You had a couple of great games, a lot of picks and what have you, but then that went away as the season went on, and the more that was asked of the secondary, they weren't exactly stellar. And then, obviously, Morgan got hurt, and then it seemed like from that point on, Arkansas was just really getting worse and worse by the week on defense. So if we're applying that same methodology of well, we're going to fire him because of recruiting, then you need to take a look at the defensive back coach, because it's not like they had a great year recruiting back there. So I don't think that's fully what's going on here. I wonder if there's something else. I don't know. But that's what we know that sounds like so far. John Cooper, tight end coach, hitting the road, and no one replaced him yet. And then Michael Schurer, who was, again, your quality control guy at the linebacker position, who's going to take over as a linebacker coach. And that could very well be it, too. Maybe this guy's the real deal. So, by the way, Coach Schurer, who played, again, he played for Missouri from 2012 to 2016. He totaled 266 career tackles, and he's from St. Louis. I'm sure they'll utilize that. They'll go into St. Louis. They've had some success there over the years. Also, and this was a big one, nothing confirmed, only rumors at the moment. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't know if there's a whole lot of truth to it just yet. I have reached out to a couple of people in the media. both of them said that the NFL is interested in defensive line coach Derek LeBlanc. So there's no confirmation as to anyone offering him a job. It sounds to me like maybe some teams reached out to his agent. Who is his agent? Anybody know? Anybody have that tidbit of information? So if LeBlanc leaves, and this is interesting because now this surfaces, and the timing of this is really interesting, with former Barry Odom coaching assistant Brick Haley, who's been the Mizzou defensive line coach since 2017, rumors are he's not returning. And that just released around the same amount of time. I did reach out to someone, a Mizzou media member, no response. So I don't. There's no, right now. It just sounds like that's the rumor, but it is heavily expected. And by the way, that source is from Power Mizzou. That's their rivals site. Sources: D-line coach Brick Haley will not return to Mizzou. This was 2 days ago. So the timing of that is interesting. Now, a little background on him. He's been around the league, around college football and the pros for a little while. So he was a defensive line coach at Texas, LSU. I think Mississippi State was one. He was also in the NFL for a short while with the Chicago Bears. And he played college ball back in the early mid-'80s. He's 54 years old. He played for Alabama A&M back in the day, back in the 80s, back in the Zach Morris days. Well, Zach Morris would have been like late 80s, right? A.C. Slater. If you don't understand that reference, you're probably a younger millennial. So, yeah. Coincidence? I don't know. It's not been official from either university yet that LeBlanc has obviously Pittman hasn't said anything. So, yeah, let me go back to YouTube here. Let's scroll on up. Talk some Hog baseball. I'm not caught up. Like I've said, I don't really – like when I get caught up, you'll know on Hog baseball. I'll let you know. Let's see. Spawn Quest Gaming. Chris Gregg did coach receivers at Memphis under Mike Norvell. Yeah. That'd be an interesting hire. I don't know that I'd be opposed to it. As long as he's more qualified than DJ Williams. DJ Williams, yeah, he played in the pros, but so did Chris Gregg. DJ Williams has never coached, as far as I know, outside of like maybe a youth center league or something. I have no idea. Grant Patrick, I pray to God we have full capacity at the Texas game this year. It's on my birthday, and I will be there no matter what happens. That place will be rocking. I hope so. Come on, guys. Let's bring DJ Williams to Arkansas coaching tight ends. Look, I don't know why people think it's a good idea to bring former stars who have no resume, no coaching resume, to coach at Arkansas. Like, I've heard Darren McFadden or Felix Jones be the running back coach I don't know how many times. Guys, just because they were great in college or had a career in the NFL doesn't mean they would be good position coaches, right? I mean, I'm not saying it won't. Now, Chris Gregg, at least he has a little bit of coaching under his belt. I'm off the bandwagon. Oh, already read that. Hogs are going bowling this year. Watch us be a top 10 team. Turn that damn jukebox on. Cough, cough, Hogville Insiders. I don't know what you're talking about with that. I don't get anything from Hogville Insiders. I haven't been on Hogville in a long time. Yeah, talk some Hog baseball. The problem is about 5 of you care about baseball. That's the problem. That's why I don't talk baseball. You'll probably see me at Baum this year. If you go to any of the games, I might make it to a game or two. What's your thoughts on the Omahags coming up in a few weeks? Again, I'm just not caught up on Razorback baseball. I'm just really not. I got the lettuce freshened up nice. Let's see. The Jay Williams dunk made me think of Gafford. dude has the potential to become a beast. I don't doubt that at all. Man. Why is it so much harder for Arkansas to recruit on the defensive side of the ball? It's been a huge question for years. The only guy that I've seen come in here and really have any success on the defensive side of the ball, go back and look what Chad Morris did do. What was that, 2019 class? Was that when Catalan came in, 2019? That class loaded up with defensive, like 4-star defensive linemen. Catalan was a highly rated 4-star. Let's see. You had – now, they don't always produce. You know, you look at who was the – Fouché was highly rated but was only a 4-star. There was another one. Mathew Hestand, I think, was a 4-star, and he hasn't really produced yet. But it's hard. I don't know why at Arkansas, and I've always wondered that at the linebacker position. You think back to Dre Greenlaw, your most successful linebacker in the pros. Montrell Spate lasted, like 4 years in the pros or something with the Redskins. Dre Greenlaw played safety at Fayetteville. And I can't remember, if I remember right, his recruiting process was that he was going to play one of those two positions here because they were so worried about the linebacker position. Eventually that's where he developed. You know, Scooter Harris luckily had one really great year for the Razorbacks, and then behind that, not much. I don't know it's like the $1 million question. Why do they struggle at bringing in talent on the defensive side of the ball? And I don't know. I think you've had one 5-star since the star rating system has ever been around on defense. Darius Winston. He was like the top 3 corner out of high school on Rivals, I think. I don't think 247 was around then. I think it was Scout and Rivals and ESPN back then, and he's the only 5-star I think you've ever signed out of high school. Yeah, Darius Winston was a 5-star corner we recruited that people say was a bust. He just never panned out. Never panned out. I don't know. That's how you make a resume tie. Yeah, but I would prefer you not to start your resume at a Power 5 program like Arkansas. I'd rather you be somewhere first. You know, I'd rather you have at least some experience in recruiting. I would rather you have experience at being a coach, really on any level. I don't really care. Just at least a year or two. Maybe we could play in the toughest division, Ty, but who knows? I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe, because we play in the toughest division. But then why do you recruit so well on offense? Like, they've recruited really well on offense over the years. Sosa Game was a 5-star somewhere. Yeah, I think he was. He was. On ESPN, I think. Yeah, you're right about that. Sosa Game was. I always forget about Sosa being highly rated. Ahmad Carroll was a 5-star. Man, when did Ahmad Carroll sign? 2000. God, when did he sign? Ended up being a pretty good player here. He worked out. I think there's no doubt about that. Ahmad Carroll, fast, quick, just a great reactive corner. Ahmad was a beast, man. Ahmad Carroll was a beast. Sosa Game never really, I don't know. Losing Colin Clay hurt a lot. Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. Was it 2006? No, that was before 2006. Ahmad Carroll? Wasn't that like 02 or something? It was kind of early in the Houston Nutt era. Anyways, all right, let's move on. Hunter Yurachek updates us on Razorback Athletics. This is also huge. This is a lot of news here. I'm going to scroll down. Hunter, this year alone, tells everybody that Arkansas lost somewhere between 25 and 30 million in total revenue. Of course, he goes on to cite not being able to have fans. The television revenue helps, but not being able to have more than 16,500 fans in a 76,000 or 76,000 seated stadium is a big issue, and only having 4,000 fans inside Bud Walton being an issue. You know, Baum Stadium, all these years, you've always heard about how it sustains itself because of ticket revenue. Not going to be a thing this year. What's the capacity they're allowing? What are they allowing? Like 2,000 people or something. It's something low. But $25 to $30 million loss in revenue. He says about the capacity at the football stadium, we're going to launch our football season ticket campaign in late February, early March, with the anticipation of having full capacity at Razorback Stadium. We're going to sell it that way. we'll release our football schedule, and that's going to come out soon, actually. I think probably early next week, it looks like, or sometime next week. He says within the next week or 10 days or so. We're anticipating things to return to some sense of normalcy. That's my crystal ball outlook of what I think right now. I would be concerned if he came out and said anything else. I want an athletic director to that's you need that. You need that positivity. You need to think like that. So but a little bit, do we get that? Do we get to capacity? God only knows. And also it looks like a facility master plan. The facilities master plan is also going to keep moving forward. They're going to complete the state-of-the-art 27,049,000 square foot JB Danyel Hunt Baseball Development Center. He says, "I don't see there being less ambitious plans within the SEC. This year's been a struggle for most of us financially. Well, I mean, maybe I think he's talking about the programs, not him. I forget what his salary is, but not him as an individual. I think he's doing okay. But you can see the baseball facility that the JB Hunt Baseball Development Center is on schedule and will open. So that will be, it's looking good, man. The plans they have going on there. Yeah, baseball attendance, it's 4,000. That will, okay, so I thought it was 2. It's 4,000. That will be the capacity allowed. So not as much. Joe with the $5 super chat. What's up, man? How you doing, Joe? Auburn fans are complaining about SEC officiating at the end of the game. Yeah, karma sucks, doesn't it? You'll love to see it. Ty, when was the last time we had a dominant D? 2014, they were pretty damn good. 2014, that defense, I think it was I always get the years mixed up. I think it was 14 where you had like a top 10, top 15 rated defense. It's not every year that you have a great defense at Arkansas. Shooter Race Gaming says, I feel like it could be helpful. Let's see. I feel like it could be helpful to big in newer guy. The feel and the speed is so much different than when some of these older coach played. Not a main position coach, but maybe an assistant. Bruce Pearl is a slimy cheat. All right. Last thing we'll talk about here. What are we at? 41 minutes. Okay. I got cooked dinner for the kiddos here in a second. This is going to be an interesting game, Arkansas Vanderbilt. So for those of you that are here for that, this is a big one because it's going to be your first back-to-back win, assuming that happens. I do think Arkansas wins, but this year, God only knows what we get on the floor. The problem I have with Arkansas basketball this year is the crazy inconsistency. At least during conference play. Non-con, when you play a bunch of nobodies, when you play a bunch of, I don't know, tech high schools, prep schools, you should beat them by double digits, right? Now, we look back, those teams, well, I mean, we knew at the time, not a very tough non-conference schedule. This stuff, I'm telling you, so bubbly. But so good. Inconsistency's been a killer for this team, and then you get off to these unbelievably slow starts. So Arkansas leads the all-time series against Vanderbilt. It's not even close, 28-12. Razorbacks beat Vanderbilt in Bud Walton a year ago by 20. They beat them 75-55 in the regular season, and then they beat them again pretty good in the tournament, in the SEC tournament, 86-73 on March 11th. Of course, they were supposed to. I think their next opponent was supposed to be South Carolina, but then the SEC tournament got canceled because of COVID. So some Vandy players to be aware of. I got 2 here. Dylan Daisu, 6'9" forward, who averages just north of 13 points a game, 8 rebounds a game. He's shooting 39% at three-point range. So they've got themselves a mini Connor Vanover, a mini Vanover. This guy he's bigger, right? He's a 6'9" forward who can knock down the 3-ball, shooting 39%. I don't have how many shots he's taken back there, but I don't have that stat in front of me. As a matter of fact, I don't have any stats in front of me. But that's going to be interesting to see how Arkansas deals with him. And then you've got Scottie Pippen Jr. I know, what a name. He's averaging 21 points a game, 5 assists also. These two are ballers, and I think beyond that, I mean, they've got some other role-playing guys on that roster, but it's going to be interesting to see how they counter these two, how they deal with these two. I fully expect them to give Pippen Jr. the double team like they did against Auburn, against Sharif Cooper. I fully expect them to double team this guy. I mean, I don't know. You feel good about what you're capable of doing out there on the perimeter as far as being on defense, but they're not anywhere near as good as what they were a year ago. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the SEC at defending out on the perimeter. But, luckily for Arkansas, they have at least a player that I think can man up and play him pretty well outside, and that's Tate. And that's going to be the matchup. That is the key matchup, is Tate versus Pippen. Keep an eye on that. This Pippen can make his own shots. He's a talented player. And Tate will have his hands full, and I fully expect Pippen to at least I expect him to put up some points. But I think it's just your ability to contain him. If you can contain Sharif Cooper for the most part, I know he had a bunch of points, but they really kind of figured out, especially later in the second half, how to prevent him from really taking over. He had points, and he got some of those at the free throw line too, and that's something Pippen can do. Vanderbilt's pretty good at getting to the free throw line. I fully expect this to be one of those games we look at and go, oh my God, Vanderbilt shot like 35 free throw attempts here. I wouldn't surprise me to see that. I think they're that good at getting to the line, and they have outside shooting. Guys, they're shooting north of 30% outside on the year. I believe that's what the stat said. Right now it has them making almost 10 threes a game. They shoot the three ball a lot, so you're going to have your hands full out there. I feel good about being able to slow down Pippen, but it's about what the other guys can do for Vanderbilt outside on the perimeter. So maybe you could slow down Pippen, but then you're still concerned. We just talked about Daisu, who's your 6'9" forward who could stretch the floor the way Connor Vanover's supposed to. But then again, Vanover's 7'3", doesn't have not the same build, obviously. But this is going to be a ball game. I think I don't expect this to be a blowout. I could be wrong. I mean, this team, you never know who the hell shows up. You don't know who to expect to show up. I hope Jalen has another game. I want him to have back-to-back great games, really build on that confidence. But I do expect Arkansas to win. Arkansas is favored 75% according to ESPN's Basketball Power Index. So Vanderbilt on the year, they're 0-4 in conference play, 4-6 on the year. Boy, when they're bad at basketball and football, it's got to be. We complain about being Hog fans. Imagine being a Commodore fan. Yeah, baseball, they're spectacular. I get it. Arkansas's not bad at baseball. I mean, we all know that. They're pretty damn good at baseball, right? But, I mean, you see the impact that has on fans. Most fans, let's be real, most fans today, not the biggest baseball fans. Arkansas baseball fans, I think, are some of the most diehard, but it's like that. It's like, it's the people that go to the games, right? Like those are the people that are really into it. And I think Arkansas has more of those than most schools in college baseball, period. But throughout the rest of the state, when basketball and football's down, fans complain constantly. And I say, look at Vanderbilt. That's all I'm saying. That's the point that I'm making. I like baseball. You guys know, obviously, I'm a baseball fan, big Cardinal fan. I try to keep up with the baseball with the baseball team. Not always easy to do, especially with the changes and what have you. My bad, didn't read chat. Hit the like button. Please do. Food for thought. We ran off Willie Robinson. Oh, man, that's a name I haven't thought of in a while. And haven't had anyone better at DC since, unless you count what Brett did with Petrino's players. Again, 2014, you were a top 15 defense. That was Rob Smith. I would argue that Rob Smith was more successful than Willie Rob. We could beat Vandy. Yeah, you can beat Vandy by 30. I just don't know if that team shows up. That's what matters here. What team shows up? Fishman says baseball is so boring. Any idea who the tight end coach is going to be? Yeah, Alex, I said that earlier. I have no idea, man. I have no idea. So, again, I think it'll be a Kendall Browse type of hire. I think Kendall's probably going to go after someone he's worked with. I mean, he may not, but it could be where Pittman – that might be where Pittman puts his foot down. We'll see. Or he says, you know what, I'm going to make the hire here. But I think Kendall Browse will be pretty heavily involved. What's your score prediction for the Vandy game? It could be a high-scoring game. It could be one of those games it's like, 85-72, something like that. So I'm not really sure. What's up, peeps? What's up, Robert Ainsworth? Yo, chilling in Utah tonight. Robert, what's got you in Utah, my man? The guy that sold us our home security. We have Vivint Home Security. I guess Vivint's like based out of Salt Lake City, I think. But he was from Utah. And I'm a sucker for door salesmen. I just am. Like, it's so hard for me to turn them away. That is if all the news is true. Well, yeah, very true. Yeah. We don't know. Well, Cooper is out. Cooper's gone. It sounds like I don't think the university has said 100% positive, but he's out. Like, that's from everybody that I know that says that. It could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he is gone. So it's gonna be about who you replace him with, or who's gonna be allowed to make that hire. As of now, how far do you see Arkansas going into the tournament? It says Sports Romantic. Like I said last week, I've wiped the slate clean as far as my expectations for this team. I'm not even sure they get there. Because with Alabama being as good as they are, you still got to play LSU again. You got to play Mizzou again. You got Florida. Florida's just, even when they're bad, they beat Arkansas when Arkansas's good. Like, Florida's not a game you cross off. Not that they're bad this year either. So I just don't know, man. And then you've got Oklahoma State, which would be a huge, huge win if you could go on the road and get that win there. Yes, they did cheat to get their talent. They got busted. Are they serving a postseason ban? Because I'm not entirely sure. I think they are. I think they're serving I think it was a self. I think they imposed that on themselves. I'm pretty sure, but they got yeah. What a surprise! Oklahoma State. How many times have they been accused of cheating? Sports Illustrated did a whole spread on them with their football program some years back. So, yeah. All right. I think that's going to do it. I do appreciate you guys coming through, being a part of this. Again, no post game immediately following. Maybe later tomorrow I'll do something. Just hit the notification bell. That way you're caught up. Hey, let's hit the like button as well. We had 50. I think we had like 50 people in here. Let's get those likes up. Huh? We can do that. We're capable of that. But I do appreciate you guys coming through. I feel like there's something else. Oh, yeah, Hog Talk Podcast. Latest episode is out today as well if you want to go check that out. The link is provided for you down below. So like the video, like the live stream. You can follow me on social media. You guys know where to find me. Heading this truck towards Seattle. Good show. What I saw later. Oh, well, appreciate that, Robert. Appreciate that, man. Be safe. But yeah, hit the like, check out the links. If you want to become a member of the PTN Patreon, that link is provided for you as well. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and make sure you hit the notification bell. That way, if I do go live tomorrow at some point, hopefully you're notified by YouTube. So until then, whenever, possibly tomorrow, more than likely Monday, I'll see you guys around. Woo Pig, go Hogs.